Hello everyone, this is Amazon Web Services Machine Learning Operations with AWS, and this is day 3 of this Machine Learning Operations with AWS Masterclass. I welcome you all on behalf of Pantech E Learning. So we have completed 2 days of this AWS introduction, so we have seen many topics. I just want to give a recap and refresh a little bit about what all the topics have completed till now. So in the first day we have seen about the introduction and regarding account creation and so on. So once we have created the account, we have gone into our console where we have started seeing first with budgets, right? So why we need budget and why it is important? So at some time without your knowledge you may have used some sort of options or services. So like when it keep on running it may cost you sometimes. So what it will do is it will add to your bill. So if you don't have any budget alerts, so without your knowledge you will be having a lot of money added to your bill, and at the end of the month you will be have to paying a lot of money. So to avoid this we are using AWS budgets, where we will be setting some alert and we can set some value, which means like for example if I have I have planned for spending only $5 this month. If the amount exceeds $5, I'll get a mail alert so that I can work on it and stop or do whatever the process I can do to stop it. So that's what the idea behind AWS budget is. Coming back to day 2, then we have started with IAM, right, which is nothing but identity and access management, where we see how to create an IAM user. So it's like a same account but we'll be having multiple users. So you are the main account, which means you are the root user. You have all the authorization and you are the king of it. But you can have some more like employees working with IAM account, where they will be having certain restrictions and permissions which you are going to set, and based on it you allow them to perform certain operations. Okay. And then coming back to next topic, we have seen about virtual machine. So what is a virtual machine? So in physical server, like in real world without cloud, okay, what is the opposite of cloud? On premises. We'll be deploying our application into physical server, but in cloud what is happening? It is deployed to virtual server. So what it is called? It is called as virtual machine. So for example, cloud service provider like AWS, they have their data center where they have their physical storage or physical server. Using something known as hypervisor, we are going to access it. And what is this hypervisor will do? In the entire infrastructure, it is going to split it into partitions so that it can allocate and give separate virtual machines to different users. So that's what happened in virtual machine. And then we have gone into hands-on on how to create a virtual machine. So starting with like how to create a virtual machine when it asks for the name and then Amazon machine image, which is nothing but the software information. Then going into instance type, where it has told about all the instances, right? So it represents the hardware requirement you are going to have. Then storage, security, key pair login, okay, all these things we have done it, and the port detail. So once we complete it, we have tried to launch it an Apache HTTP server to check whether this Linux environment is working properly or not. So till that we got some nice output, right? So we got our output. And today's class we are going to just continue with it. Okay, it's like an elaborate continuation with what we have seen in previous class. So that's why we have seen a little bit intro about what we have seen in previous classes. So I think it's time to kickstart with today's content. So before going into that content, we are going to we have to see something known as load balancer. So that's what today's continuation is. Before going into load balancers, you want to understand one simple concept. So this is not that much important for this activity you are going to do. But generally when you are going into cloud computing, it is better to know these kind of basic terminologies and the meaning behind it. So let us start with this, something known as virtual private cloud. Okay, so it's the short form is VPC. So it is called as virtual private cloud. So it's like VPN. What is VPN? It is virtual private network. Okay, where the networking, we are having bunch of networks, and if it's private for you alone, it is called as virtual private network. Similarly, this cloud, okay, it is public clouds are available and private clouds are available. Public clouds means it is entirely available and it's common to the public. Private cloud means you can access it, okay, it's private for you and you are in control of it. That's what a private cloud is. So Amazon is providing a private cloud. It is called as Amazon Virtual Private Cloud. A virtual private cloud is a private cloud within a public cloud. Okay, so it's logically isolated from other virtual networks in the entire AWS cloud. So imagine AWS cloud storage, it is a public thing, right? So in that you will be having isolated partition where it is a private network for you alone, which you can only access. So how this VPC works and what is the thing behind it, I'm having an example. So if you see about the concept with it, you can understand how this VPC works. Imagine there is a car parking like this. We are having a nice car parking and many cars are coming in through this way and going out through this way, and we have a left side parking and right side parking, right? And many cars are there, and imagine this entire thing is the car parking, and outside of this car parking is the outside world. Okay, imagine this scenario. Now we are adding VPC. So what is VPC? Virtual private cloud, which means the outer part, the outer world is the public cloud, where now you have created a virtual private cloud. This is private for you alone. Okay, you have added boundaries. So this is virtual private cloud. This is a private cloud which is accessible only by your authorization, and apart from outside of this, it is called as public and it is open world. Okay, and as you can see, if anything wants to come in or go out of this VPC, there is only one pathway here. Okay, cars can come in, cars can go out of it. So this pathway is called as internet gateway. Okay, this VPC has something known as internet gateway. So it is a pathway where anything can come inside of this virtual private cloud or go out of this virtual private cloud. How it is happening? It's going through this internet gateway only. There is no other way. Clear? And we have a partition inside of this virtual private cloud. It is called as subnets. Okay, what is a subnet? A partition of or a part of this VPC, it's called as subnets. For example, in this car parking, you can see we are having left side and right side. So it is splitted into partitions. Okay, it is called as subnet. And for example, if you want to access this subnet, which means if you want to park your car on the right side of the subnet, you want to use a route. Okay, in internet gateway you would have heard about route, right? So this route is responsible for it. Only through this route or route you can access this subnet, which means any car can come in and go out through this route only, not any other way. And it is accessible coming in or going out through internet gateway. And this subnet is actually classified, and there are two types of subnets are available. One is known as public subnet and another one is known as private subnet. So what is public subnet? What is private subnet? Which means if you want to connect your subnet or your virtual private cloud to the public cloud, only this public subnet is accessible and any car can come in or go out through this internet gateway on route only on public subnet only. Okay, this is accessible through internet. Okay, that's what the simple essence of this is. Public subnets can be accessed through internet, through the internet gateway and route, but this private subnet is not accessible and it is authorized only for you, and it's not can be accessible through the internet. And the same service, this same concept is applicable. So that's what we have seen. So AWS is providing inside a region you have availability zones, right? Multiple availability zone, we have discussed about it. And there we are having this virtual private cloud where it contains public subnet, okay, tied to available zone and accessible from internet. And private subnet, it is tied to availability zone but it is not accessible through internet. Likewise, in many availability zone we have all the subnets, public subnets and private subnets. So this is just for the information, because when we go for load balancer, we may have to select subnet. At that time you don't want to worry about what is this, right? So that's why this brief introduction about what is a subnet and what is this VPC, virtual private cloud. Clear? So it's time for us to go and click the next topic, which is nothing but elastic load balancing. So this is a concept where we are going to use EC2 instance. So what I'll suggest is what we have seen in previous class in day 2. You want to be thorough with it, how we are creating and why we are setting the port from SSH to HTTP, why it is working in that format. Okay, so because we are going to use the same concept here, so if you haven't or not clear about it, I'll ask you to rewatch that video and come back here again. Okay, so this will be also a refreshing session, so please be patient and listen to this class. Elastic load balancing. Okay, what is elastic load balancing? What is load and what is balancing? Balancing is helps to as the name itself suggesting, load balancing means it is in some way it is help us to balance the load. Okay, and it can be a traffic load, which means like for example, you are having a server. Okay, you have rented a EC2 and you have deployed your application there, that online web app, and it has some infrastructure, right? Hardware and software configuration, we have set it, and there is some limit for it. For example, if the load or the peak or the traffic goes high, okay, usually you will be getting a traffic or the user visiting your website is 1000, and imagine suddenly your thing got viral and they you'll be having an incoming of 1 lakh people visiting your website. Okay, so the load for the server increases, for the EC2 increases, and it has some capacity. So once the capacity got exceeded, it may not work properly. Its health may go down. The server may go down, which is actually what will happen. Your application will go down. So to avoid this, we can use something known as load balancer. So what does this load balancer do? It will help you to balance this load. So how it is doing actually? So instead of one server, which means one EC2 instance, you can create multiple EC2 instances. Okay, now you have multiple servers, for example 2 or 3 server. Okay, so what this load balancer will do is, whenever clients or people try to access through internet, okay, to your application, it is directing towards the server. It will pass through this load balancer, where this load balancer is actually what it is doing is, it is just splitting them. Okay, for example, if you have 3000 clients, it will send the first 1000 to this server, then some 1000 participants to this server, then some 1000 clients to this server. It is just actually directing and splitting and helping us to balance the load. So in this way, the server, they can split and work among them, right? So that's what the idea behind this load balancer is. So according to the definition, elastic load balancing automatically distributes incoming application traffic across multiple target and virtual applications in one or more availability zone. So how you are deploying it in one or more availability zones, so which helps you to balance it and run it properly and smoothly. And there are various varieties of it. I think we can go with hands-on, right? So it's time for us to go and verify this elastic load balancing and check whether it is working or not, or how to do it. So let us go hands-on. Let me go into my console. So this video is particularly for this internship user, right? So you have purchased it. So if you want to try it, you must have an AWS account, right? So I'll suggest you to go and take an AWS account, and please be careful with set a budget and go and verify it often, so you will go safe without any additional charges. Okay, and this AWS, you can see these videos and it will be you can understand it. But the thing is, once you go into hands-on, you may struggle. Okay, so once you try with hands-on, then only you can accompany it better. So I'll go and search for EC2. Okay, so as I told you earlier, we are going to use load balancing, but before going into load balancing, we must have our application running in multiple server or multiple virtual machines. So I'm going to create one or two, for example 2 virtual machine. Okay, so what I have to do, in the EC2 dashboard, I can go into instances and I can go and click launch instance. Okay, I have to give a name. I'll give it server 1. Okay, and let us go with this free tier Amazon Linux t2.micro and a key pair login. I'll go with this new key pair. If you don't have, you can create a key pair. It will just download and you can select it later. And the security group, since I'm going with Apache HTTPD, I want to allow the HTTP traffic, so I'll go and select this. 8 GB of storage is enough, that's fine. What is the instance we have selected? Yeah, this is also fine, t2.micro. And we have seen about this, there's something known as advanced detail. So if you remember in the previous class, we have done some Linux commands, right? We have connected with the instance. Once we launched the instance, we have connected it, then opened the Linux instance, right? And in the Linux, we have done some tasks like yum update y, or install HTTPD, system control start it, system control enable it. Then I have typed some HTML changes where it has shown up as the host name, right? So instead of connecting it and doing it manually, I can automate it, which means there is certain format to write a code to do it. Okay, you can go and click this advanced detail, and you can directly come to last one, user data. Okay, there's a certain format for this, like I'll just show you now. So I'll just also give this file in the downloadables. Okay, please make sure you are finding it. So this is the file. We have the update commands, system start, enable, and these commands is for changing the directory and making it work automatically. Okay, so we'll just get hello world from the host name. Okay, that's what the idea behind this. So if I go and click this launch instance, it will automatically do this process. So once the instance start running, I can get my web application running properly. So I'll go and click this launch instance. Yeah, it's done now, right? So it will take few time to kickstart. Okay, so in the meantime, I want another server, so I'll go and create another server using launch instances. Server 2, Amazon Linux, t2.micro, same key pair, HTTP, I want all HTTP traffic, 8 GB of storage, and the advanced details I'll just paste the same user data at my application to be done. Okay, I'll launch this instance also. Yeah, so I'll go and verify it. So the first server is running and it's initializing. We'll wait for it to complete, then only we can check whether it is working or not. In the dashboard, you can actually see some other details also. So we go and see the instances is 2 and running is 2, and the load balancer, we got our name, right? So we are about to see load balancer, and you can see there is no load balancer right now. So we are going to create it, and we'll check whether it is running now properly. Yeah, you can copy this public IP address, so once it starts running properly, it will show you the output. It should show. We'll check it. Yeah, so as you can see, it is now telling me this is from this IP. So this is from server 1, right? Server 1. Now I'm going to do the same with server 2 and check whether it is working or not. You can also connect it. It will take you to Linux environment. Instead of going and doing it manually, I'm just doing it in this additional settings. And as you can see, it is from different IP. You can see, right? So we got 2 servers running parallelly right now. But the thing is, if you want to coordinately make it run, you have to use load balancer to balance the load. So where to check for load balancer? Actually, there is no load balancer running. In the left side, you can go and see in below, you can find load balancers, right? So you have to click it. So as you can see, there is no load balancer right now. You can go and create a load balancer. And this is a home page for this load balancer. We want to go and use this application load balancer, okay, based on the HTTP traffic. So I'll go and create, and we want to give a name for it. For my server, just some name. The scheme we can get with internet facing, and IP can be IPv4, no issues. And see here in network mapping, we got our name, something known as VPC. What it is, we have seen it in yesterday's, in the start of the session, right? So about VPC, virtual private cloud, and we have our subnets here, you can see, right? So you can select which all the subnets are the availability zones where you are going to deploy this load balancer by configuring the servers. Okay, you can select these things. And in the security group, you have to actually do one thing. See here, there is something known as security group, and this is for the permission. So you can go and click this security group, create a new security group. So this will take you to another console to create a security group. So you can go and give a name like server security description, some sort of description. So these are just information. This is the name of it, and you have to edit this inbound role. You can go and click this add role, where the security wants to allow HTTP traffic, okay, and the IP can be from anywhere. So this is the one change you have to do, and you can create your security group. So now our security group and name server security is created. You can go and now refresh this. Coming back to this page on load balancer creation, you can refresh it and you can search for that name. So you got your server security here, okay. Along with the default, you want to add this HTTP traffic also. So once you are done with it, you can come to this listener and routing. So based on the route, you have to create target group. So you can see there is no target group right now. So what is this target group is, in this load balancers, which all the server you are going to actually use. So you can go and click this create target group. So we are going to create a target group, and you can find this name here also. For example, in this dashboard below the load balancer, you can find the target group also. So in the target group, I want to specify what is my target group actually. So those are instances I am going to connect, and my server target group, the name of it. Okay, so these things can be as done. So we can go and click next, and as you can see, we can find all the targets we are having, right, which is nothing but the server 1 and server 2. So I can go and select these things, and you have to do this through port 80 through HTTP. It's okay. You can go and click include as pending below, and you can see once you added it, you will be getting this thing here. So now both are configured. You can go and create a target group in the name my server target group. You can go back to this browser window where you have this load balancer creation. If you refresh it, you can have this my server target group, which we have created just now, right? Yeah, now like we have completed everything, and this is the summary we have just now done. Okay, the basic configuration, the security group we have added one, what is the network mapping, the VPC, and the listeners and routing, the target group. Now it's all done. You can go and click this create load balancer. So this will take some time to create it. You can go and click view load balancer. It is provisioning. Once it is created, you can go and use this DNS name. So this link will help you to actually check whether this is working or not, to actually use it. So what we are going to do, we'll just wait for it to complete. Once it is completed, we'll try to access it and check whether it is done or not. You can convert this masterclass into 1 month certified internship on machine learning operations with AWS. Once you join the internship, you will be getting all these benefits such as 30 days of live sessions, 90 days of access to all the records, 6+ source codes of AWS projects, downloadable code files, 30 days downloadable PPTs, 5 mentor live and mastermind session in Zoom where you can directly interact with the mentor and clarify all your doubts, internship confirmation letter, and then internship certification when you join this internship. To avail this internship, you can get it at a discounted fee at $799. The registration link is posted in chat box. You can get benefited by getting all these benefits of internship by joining the internship at this registration link. It is available at this discounted fee at $799. So once you join as an internship user, it is a 1 month internship. So you'll be getting a separate agenda and separate contents for 30 days, which includes basics of AWS, in-depth machine learning with deep learning as well as machine learning operations with from the scratch with Git, GitHub, and then SageMaker deployments and AWS AI services. We'll be deploying the projects. We have projects such as vehicle insurance claim fraud detection, Avalon age prediction, SageMaker project, clustering project, census income prediction project with deployment, as well as music rating recommender system project with deployment. So we'll be creating pipeline in AWS, and we can deploy the model and give it to the client in production. With that API link, you can get predictions real time. So you can get all these benefits at this discounted fee at $799, and the registration link is posted in chat box. now we got active, right? The state is active now, so it's time for us to check whether it is working or not. You can copy the link and paste it in a new window, and let us check whether this is working or not. Yeah, it's working, right? So now with this link we got something like this IP, which is similar to this one, right? So we have created server 1 and server 2. Now it's running on server 2, this one. But if you refresh or open another tab, it will just change to server 1. Likewise, parallelly, it will go to server 1 or server 2 based on the load. If you have multiple servers, you can attach with load balancer by adding it to target group. So it will direct accordingly. So that's what the idea behind load balancer, and we have completed successfully creating a load balancer. You can also check it here, so it will tell you the load balancer running is 1, right? We got our load balancer running. So we still haven't completed because we have created a load balancer. This topic is done. We are going to see some other topic now, so which is just a continuation of this one. So please wait before deleting or terminating these instances. So we have done with the elastic load balancing. There is some topic which is known as auto scaling. So this is a concept to automatically create many instances to balance the load. Okay, to help the load balancer, we can opt for auto scaling. So what is this auto scaling does? AWS has a service which is called as auto scaling. It is a service that automatically adjusts the capacity of AWS services for application performance. So this is not only for EC2, for many things you can use this auto scaling. It's available in some services. What does this auto scaling do? It is a service that automatically adjusts the capacity of service, other service like EC2, for application performance, which means, for example, you are having a website and you have added a load balancer, and the thing is, you are having two EC2 instances and your loads are working fine. Okay, so if you have enormous amount of traffic, okay, which means, like, for example, instead of 1000 you will be having 1 lakh users visiting your website. Even though you have two server, it cannot balance it. Okay, at that time you want to scale it, which means, what is scaling? Increasing your capacity, right? So you want to have multiple servers. Now instead of making, like, manually doing it, you can go and use this auto scaling and set some properties. For example, I can set like the maximum number of EC2 instance you can create is 4. Okay, if the load is high, it is automatically going to create 4 EC2 instances and keep it running properly. This auto scaling will automatically adjust unto it. That's what the idea behind this auto scaling. To help or maintain the performance, you will go for scaling, right? So you can do it automatically with the help of this auto scaling from Amazon Web Services. So there are certain permissions requirement is there because it is automatically creating EC2, right? So we have to set some permissions and so on. We are going to see about it. Let us go hands on now. So we just want to go back into the EC2 where we got our instance. 2 instances are running, load balancer is 1, and you can find the auto scaling groups available just now is 0, right? So we want to create auto scaling groups. So how to create it? In the left side you can see we are having this auto scaling groups below this load balancing. Okay, you can go and click this, and Amazon EC2 auto scaling helps you maintain the availability of your application, which means even though there is high amount of load, your application won't go down because the scaling is done automatically. You are going to set some maximum value. Okay, so the minimum and maximum capacity can be defined. Instead, if you won't define it, what will happen? If the load is high, what if it is going keep on increasing the EC2 instance? You have to pay for it, right? So what you can do is you can actually set some limit so that it will be created to that extent only. So we are going to just set for some minimum value and we are going to check whether it is working or not. Okay, so to create it, you can go and click this create auto scaling group. Okay, you have to give a name for it, auto scaler. I'll just give a name like auto scaler. And the thing is, next thing is launch template. So what is this launch template is? As I told you earlier, we want to create like this auto scaling group is automatically going to create EC2 instance, but you want to define which EC2 instance it want to create, because in EC2 we are having enormous amount of software and hardware and storage configurations which we can select, right? But you can define, this is the thing, this is the template, you want to go and create this only. Okay, if I want to go with free tier only, I will go and select these options. So whenever it is creating EC2 instance, it will create only in the free tier, right? So I'll go and click this. And if you are a new user, you won't have any launch template. So what you can do is you can go and click this create launch template. So we have to give a name for it, EC2 launcher, for example. Launcher, okay. So for example, for my server, just a description. Okay, so you have to select what is the AMI you are going to give it to this EC2. So every time it is automatically creating, I just want to use it Amazon Linux. Okay, and it is like this free tier eligible, and the instance type I'll just go and select this t2.micro, which is also a free tier eligible one. Key pair login, I'll go with this key pair, new key pair. Okay, so yeah, that's it. The storage is 8 GB, so we are fine. And you can go and give the advanced details. It's available. Yeah, let me just copy it once again. So this is given below in the description, don't worry about it, you can get it, okay, in the downloadables. So the thing is, now we have created a template for launching, so I'll go and create a launch template, and it's done now, okay. And we have created a launch template, but it is not actually going to create anything because we have used it in this autoscaler. So you have to add this, refresh it, and go and select for the EC2 launcher which you have just created. Okay, so now we have added a launch template which will automatically create. So we'll go with next. And the VPC, you can select the availability zones, all the subnets. Next. Okay, so it is asking me whether I have a load balancer, so I'll go and attach a load balancer. So we can go and select a target group, my server target group. Okay, so that's it. Next. And it is asking for the capacity, so the desired capacity I want is 2 for my application to run, okay, the EC2 instances, and the minimum I'll give it as 1, okay, and the maximum I want is just 4. I don't want to go above that, okay. And that's it. We can go with next. Yeah, you can go and review it. One thing, let me just come back to previous. We'll just check once again. So we have given a name for it. Once again, we'll just revise it. We have just given a name for this autoscaler, and we have created a launch template. Okay, so we'll go and click with next. We have selected the VPC. Next, we are attaching a load balancer. Yeah, next, we have set the capacity for it. Go with next. Yeah, and done. We can go and create the auto scaling group now. Okay, we have set something mistake here. What it is? Okay, the maximum it's 4 actually, some kind of issues. Yeah, next. Create auto scaling group. So we'll wait for it to complete because it is going to take some time to complete it. So what will happen here is, if you want to see it visually whether it is working or not, you can go and check this EC2 dashboard, where already we have 2 instances running, right? So server 1 and server 2. So where this one came from? There is no actually no proper name for it, but it is running in my availability zone and it have an IP. It is running actually properly. How it is done running? So this is what the work of this autoscaler is. It is going to create automatically maximum of 4 instances. Okay, if you refresh it, and you can see like we got another one. So 4 of them will be initializing and running. So that's how this auto scaling will do, it will automatically scale it. Okay, and if you are going to stop something, it is going to have a backup for that too. Okay, if you stop it and terminate it, after some time it will automatically try to create. Anyway, we have a minimum of 1, so it should run properly, but it will try to achieve the desired and maximum instances running. So that's how you can check whether this is autoscaler is working or not. So that's it. Once you are completed with this, what you can do is you can just stop everything, otherwise it will keep on automatically creating. So first you can go and select this autoscaler, and once you are done with it, you can go and click delete. Okay, you can type delete here. So if you are practicing, it is better to just, once you have completed it, just stop everything what you have created. Okay, you don't want to incur any additional costs, it's better to drop them. So I'll delete the target groups. Okay, it's actually using in this load balancer, so first I have to delete the load balancer. Confirm, I'll delete it. Target group, now I can delete it. Since it is used there, it is actually haven't allowed us to do it. This will take some time, it is deleting. No issue, target groups are deleted, load balancers are deleted. And what else we have created? We'll go with EC2 dashboard. What are the instances running? No, nothing is running because we have just stopped it. EC2 dashboard, I'll refresh it. Now the auto scaling group, it is deleting, and the instances we have is 4. We can delete that too if you don't want it. Okay, I'll just terminate the instance. So once you are done, it is better to clear everything which you have created. If you won't use it, then it's better to stop these things. Okay, so that's it about auto scaling. And with EC2 we have completed the entire EC2, all the basic things with EC2, right? We have created, see how to create it, and then how to add a load balancer, then how to add an auto scaling group. So that's it about EC2. So the next topic we are going to see something known as Elastic Beanstalk. Okay, so this is a service from AWS, and it is called as Elastic Beanstalk. It is particularly for web application deployment. Okay, and please don't confuse about EC2 and Elastic Beanstalk. So please don't worry about it. I'll give you an example so that you can clarify which is which. Okay, for example, instead of having or going to cloud, what you have done is you have deployed it to your server. You have a physical server and you are doing it. Okay, imagine this scenario, and something like for example, instead of 1,000 people at a time, 1 lakh people or more than like that people are visiting your website. Okay, and your traffic is very high, so your system is not working properly, which means it's struggling. And you go and see your system, it's not working any properly. Your application may go down. So what you are doing, you are going to try to adjust it. You are trying to buy some additional things and trying to scale it, or even if you have to scale it manually, and you have to take care of this burden. So instead, what you can do is, if you go and use this Elastic Beanstalk to deploy your web app, they will take care of all these things like load balancing or auto scaling. Okay, so what you can do, you can just focus on your code, and you don't want to worry about the application running environment or the infrastructure or the server. Okay, that's what the advertisement they used to give for AWS Elastic Beanstalk. So Elastic Beanstalk is a service for deploying and scaling web application and services. You can upload your code, and Elastic Beanstalk automatically handles the deployment from the capacity, load balancing, auto scaling, health monitoring, and everything. They will take care of it. So we have seen something like this, right? So what it is, when you go and see EC2, what it has done, what it is given us hardware, the virtualization, the networking, right? So EC2 is an IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. But when you come for Elastic Beanstalk, what they are doing, instead of that infrastructure, they are also responsible, or they have also given you the OAS, auto scaling, and load balancing. So what you are responsible, you are just responsible for the configuration and the application code. So this is nothing but platform as a service. Okay, Elastic Beanstalk is a platform as a service, where they'll give the entire platform You just want to deploy your web app and take care of the code and that part of it. Okay, they'll take care of the other things regarding the server. So what we are going to do is, there is an option in Elastic Beanstalk where there's a sample application you can deploy and verify whether it is working or not. So we are going to repeat the same. Okay, once again, EC2 is an infrastructure service where it is providing you the base infrastructure, where you are going to select which is the OS, you are going to configure it, you are going to run your application. Here they will do everything, you just want to focus on your application code. So let me go and select Elastic Beanstalk, run and manage web apps for web application particularly. Okay, end-to-end web application management. You can create an application, you can go and click this create application. So web server environment, I'll give a name, my Python server for example, and this is the environment name, you can leave it. And the platform, this is the important thing, you want to select which application running. For example, if I have a web app which is running on Python, I need to select the platform as Python. So if it is something else, you can go and select these things. Okay, I'll go with Python, and this is the machine it is asking me to run. Yeah, it's okay, I'll go with this one itself. And the version, platform version, I'll just go with it. And this is the application code. So if you have a web app code, all the entire thing, both the front and back and everything, you can use, what you can do is you can go and upload your code. Okay, you can actually give this S3 is some, we are going to see it in tomorrow's class, where this is for storage, where you can store it there and take it with that link. Okay, just a storage purpose, you can upload it there and take it here. Now we don't have, if you don't have any code, you can go and use the sample application, which they have some sample to verify whether it is working or not. And the presets, I'll go with single instance. Okay, I don't want multiple instances, I'll just go with this single instance. Click next. And here we want to see something, guys. We want to just go back to some other details. So before that, I'll just close this unwanted tabs right now. Yeah, Elastic Beanstalk service access. Okay, so if you don't have any role, if you are trying it new, you can go and click this create new service role. Okay, role Python server. So since I already have it in this name, I'm just renaming it or giving some other name. If you are new, you don't have to worry about it. Create a new service role. Okay, there is a role which need to be given to this. So this is related with IAM. You can go and see the view permission detail. You can see it, right? Some there so in format which we have seen in the day 1, right? So day 2 in the previous class in IAM. What you can do is you can go and click this, right click on it, open a new tab. It will take you to the home page. You can go and search for IAM. We are going to use it. Okay, so let us take back to IAM. So in IAM we have seen something like user groups, users, policies, but there is something known as roles, right? So which I have told you that we are going to see it when we actually apply it. So that's what we are going to do now. So we'll just wait for it to run so that we can go and select what it is. Yeah, we want to let's generate it. This key pair is from EC2. If you already have it, you can go and use it. Okay, new key pair which I have used in EC2 instances, right? Here I want to create an instance profile which I'll just show you now. So when you go with this roles, actually, so they have many role, you can create it. Okay, if you go inside of it, you can see this is just the permissions instead of users. For one, like for example, what is the thing behind this Elastic Beanstalk want to create EC2 instance. Why? Because it is going to use that instance to run our web app, but instead of we doing it, it will automatically take care of all those things. So this service, Elastic Beanstalk, is a web app service. It want access to some other service, something like EC2. So it want to use it, but without your permission, it cannot use it, right? So instead of user, this service want to use another service. So what we are going to do, we are going to use this role. Okay, where we'll create a new role. Okay, and we'll add with it. So this is automatically creating, okay, a service role. These are the permission. With this name, once you create it, you can actually search it and find it here. Okay, in the role. And here in EC2, it is asking choose an IAM instance profile with managed policies which is required to perform EC2 instance. Okay, this want to use EC2 instance and it needed all the permissions. So what I can do is, it is asking me some permissions, so I'll go with IAM console, which I already have it. So I'm going to click this create role. So you can use this AWS service where I want to use EC2. Okay, this is a permission I want to give. It is for EC2 on my behalf. This service will use. And the policies, there are many policies, right? So I should add one policy which is Beanstalk. Okay, Beanstalk need to do this. If you search Beanstalk, there are many options here. I'll go with admin access, which means entire access for this Beanstalk. Next. So now a name, you can give a name for it. Okay, Beanstalk admin. Okay, this is the name. I'll just copy it. I don't want to forget it now. I'll create a role. Now this role is being created. So once it is done, you have to actually mention it here. Okay, we are just giving it permission to use EC2. So you can go and refresh this and you can find the name Beanstalk admin, right? Next. And that's the thing. We can go with next. Yeah, these things can remain the same. So this auto scaling, if you want to opt for it, you can go with load balanced and auto scaling. You can mention it, okay, on how is the minimum and maximum. For now I'll just go with single instance, and these are the instance types it is going to use. I'll go with next. Yeah, we can just click next to create it. So if you have your own web application, you want to like precise and tailor it. Now since we are going with sample application, this is enough to actually verify whether this is working fine or not. I'll go with submit. So this is going to take few minutes, where this will take some time. So once it is completed, you can actually use that link to check whether this is working properly or not. You can convert this masterclass into 1 month certified internship on machine learning operations with AWS. Once you join the internship, you will be getting all these benefits such as 30 days of live sessions, 90 days of access to all the records, 6 plus source codes of AWS projects, downloadable code files, 30 days downloadable PPTs, 5 mentor live in mastermind session in Zoom where you can directly interact with the mentor and clarify all your doubts, internship confirmation letter, and then internship certification when you join this internship. To avail this internship, you can get it at a discounted fee at $799. The registration link is posted in chat box. You can get benefited by getting all these benefits of internship by joining the internship at this registration link. It is available at this discounted fee at $799. So once you join as an internship user, it is a 1 month internship. So you'll be getting a separate agenda and separate contents for 30 days, which includes a basics of AWS, in-depth machine learning with deep learning as well as machine learning operations with from the scratch with GitHub, and then SageMaker deployments and AWS AI services. We'll be deploying the projects. We have projects such as vehicle insurance claim fraud detection, Avalon age prediction, SageMaker project, clustering project, census income prediction project with deployment, as well as music rating recommender system project with deployment. So we'll be creating pipeline in AWS and we can deploy the model and give it to the client in production. With that API link, you can get predictions real time. So you can get all these benefits at this discounted fee at $799, and the registration link is posted in chat box. So now our web apps environment is successfully launched, which means it is kickstarted and it should be running properly. You can go and click this domain. So it is running properly. So it is telling congratulations, your first AWS Elastic Beanstalk Python application is now running on your own dedicated environment in the AWS cloud. Okay, this is launched on behalf by Elastic Beanstalk Python platform. So it is working properly. So this is how you can deploy your own web apps using Elastic Beanstalk. So it is a platform as a service where they'll take care of everything. You just want to use your application, like you have to take care of your application code and so on. Okay, so once you are done with it, what you can do is, if you don't want it to keep on running, you can go and terminate them. Okay, you have to delete the environment as well as the application. So this is the environment name, you can go and terminate it. Okay, and it will be deleted in some time, so you can go and delete this one too. Delete the application. So this is the name of it. I'll just copy paste it. Yeah, this is going to be like, it will be being deleted in some time. Okay, yeah, it's the no options here, which means it's already in the process of deleting. So that's it guys, whatever you have done, just please clear with it. And yeah, that's it for today guys. So in the next class, what we are going to see is, we are going to start with the AWS Lambda, and then we want to just enlighten you with the information like what we have seen with VPC. We are going to see what is a Docker container, what is microservice, what is Kubernetes. We may not go hands-on in that, we'll try to do it. And then we are going to explore with the data storage and what are the options, what is a relational NoSQL databases and S3 storage available in AWS. Okay,